Karine Jean-Pierre has decided to leave the Democrat Party and become an independent to, quote, not be so partisan, which is saying something considering she was among the most partisan press secretaries ever. She towed the party line through thick and thin, meaning when information was thin, she laid it on thick. And now she says we're in a, quote, era of misinformation and disinformation. That statement coming from the queen of disinformation, who after Biden's disastrous debate said he was, quote, as sharp as ever, and that, quote, I can't even keep up with him. Although she was able to keep up with gaslighting, from liability-laden laptops to communist connections to cognitive cover-ups, Karine Jean-Pierre told it like it wasn't, even accusing Fox News of using cheap fake videos to show Biden's rapid decline. And it turns out the former gatekeeper of disinformation is now writing a book that promises to give us an inside look at Biden's broken White House. In other words, she's writing a tell-all to tell us that what she told us is not true. Common sense thinks she could have teamed up with Tapper and written one book called You Can't Hide Your Lying Eyes.
All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this. Seems like we got some breaking news that Karine Jean-Pierre has left the Democratic Party. It seems like she's dropping a book saying that now that she is a independent. Not only that, a lot of people say she's been like throwing her little shots at President Trump. All of a sudden now you done left the Democrat Party. What, you want Donald Trump to hire you? That's not going to happen. That right there is not going to happen. So a lot of her colleagues is going off on her, saying like they are mad at Karine Jean-Pierre, because y'all got to remember, this woman told so many lies. She covered up everything. Peter Doocy was always asking her questions about Joe Biden's health. She kept saying he's sharp. Nothing is wrong with him. I have conversations with him all the time. I never see anything wrong with him. Just straight lied to the American people for years. And all of a sudden now, she don't want to be a Democrat no more. She want to be independent. She want to throw little old shots at President Trump. Think President Trump going to bring you on? That right there is not going to happen. I got some clips today that I want to show y'all. They're going to expose this woman. So please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the ones who always watch the entire video. I appreciate all of you who always let me know in the comment section. Say, hey, dog, I stayed to the end. I really appreciate it, because it definitely helps get the video out there. And the ones that come straight in and hit that like button. Please do that right now. Hit that like button so more people can see me expose Karine Jean-Pierre, you know, right now. This is bad. So I got some clips that I gotta show y'all. So please let me know that you did stay to the end and you did hit the like button. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. Now, as y'all can see right here on screen, we're going to start off with a little bit of this article. We ain't going to go over the whole article. I'm just read y'all a little bit, and we're going to get on to the clips. So, as you can see, it say, Karine Jean-Pierre leaves Democrat Party, pens book about broken White House. Oh, the White House broken, but this the same woman that covered up everything about Joe Biden. We're going to read this top section right here. So it's weeks after the release of a best-selling book detailing Democratic concerns in 2024 about President Joe Biden's ability to serve a second term, his former press secretary said she has written a book that would detail working in a broken White House and her decision to leave the Democrat Party and become an independent. The book from former White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, titled Independent. Think about it. She named her book Independent. A look inside a broken White House outside the party lines would describe the 3 weeks that led into Biden's abandoning his bid for a second term and the betrayal by the Democrat Party that led to his decision. According to the publisher, Legacy Lit, it is set for release in October 21st. Jean-Pierre said in a statement that once Biden's term ended and President Donald Trump returned to office, she determined that the danger we face as a country requires freeing ourselves of boxes. Ain't that funny right there that she said, the danger? We was already in danger because you was in the White House lying. You stood at that podium and just told lies. And we got those clips, so y'all stay tuned. But look, they say we need to be willing to exercise the ability to think creatively and plan strategically. Jean-Pierre said we need to be clear-eyed and questioning rather than blindly loyal and obedient as we may have been in the past. So let's get to this right here. So as y'all can see right here, it's a self-proclaimed Historical figure Karine Jean-Pierre has now left the Democratic Party and said in a book that no one would buy. So let's listen to what Karine Jean-Pierre trying to do. Is she trying to pull a fast one on the people, trying to say she's no longer a Democrat just so she can try to get sales on her book? So let's check it out.
Hi, I'm Karine Jean-Pierre, and I am the author of a new book that's coming out this fall called Independent. It's coming out on October 21st, so please do grab it. And the reason I wrote this book, coming out of the White House, you know, serving as White House press secretary was an honor and a privilege. But since I have left...
so what you're trying to say, it was an honor and a privilege to lie to the American people.
The people that come up to me, strangers that come up to me just across the country as I'm traveling, and sometimes right in my neighborhood, at a grocery store, supermarket, airport, my daughter's school, the number one question they ask me is, Karine, how do we get out of this? How do we protect our democracy?
What?
How do we protect vulnerable communities among us?
Did they ask you that while you was a press secretary? While Joe Biden was in there, did they ask you that then? These people love making up stories. Show these people that y'all talking about, how do we get out of this? How do we do this? And you sit at that podium and lied about Joe Biden for years. Now you saying people is walking up to you asking questions. Man, quit lying.
What do we do next? Because we don't have answers here. That's what they ask me. And this is my answer. And what I mean by that is, in an era of misinformation, disinformation, the regressiveness of social policy, what we're seeing currently right now, what I have decided to do, and I really have thought long and hard about this, is to follow my own compass. And that's what I've done. And that's what this book does. And here's the truth. And here's how I will lay it out to you. I think we need to stop thinking in boxes and think outside of our boxes and not be so partisan. And the way that I see moving forward in this space that we're in right now is, if you are willing to stand side by side with me, regardless of your how you identify politically, and as long as you respect the community that I belong to and vulnerable communities that I respect, I will be there with you. I will move forward with you. And that is, I think, so important. So
you want to move forward with people because you want them to buy that book that nobody is going to buy. Nobody wants to hear all of this. Nobody's going to buy that book. You might well go ahead and just, the book you got in your hand, go ahead and just keep that in your house. Nobody's going to buy that book. So now you're trying to say that you're independent, to try to get other people to come buy your book so you can be like, well, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm independent. So now ain't nobody got to choose and be like, I ain't going to buy your book because you're a Democrat, or I ain't going to buy your book because you're a Republican. Let me just say I'm independent so I can get some money. No, nobody's falling for it.
This book, Independent, it's about looking outside of boxes, not just always being in a partisan stance. And how do we move forward together in a compassionate way, in a way that really truly cares about people? October 21st.
We move forward by you telling the truth and not telling lies. See, here's the problem right here with Karine Jean-Pierre. I want y'all to check out this clip of this woman, of her top 5 most recent lies. I mean, just lied through her teeth. And now she sits there with a book talking about she's independent and she really wants you to buy it. She really wants somebody to buy her lies. Think about it. We already heard your lies for free. Why the hell would we want to buy it? We done heard them for free. So now you want me to purchase your lies? No. So I want y'all to check out this clip right here. Let's go.
It would be wrong to think that the border is open. It is not open.
We're been down to the border. The possible next speaker says that he wants him to go with him. So is he going to?
So look, he's been there. He's been to the border. And since he took office.
When did he go to the border?
But that's not how it works. Like we actually, no.
I know that that's not what you guys want to happen, but that is what is happening.
But that's not, it's not like somebody walks over and that's not how
What's happening?
well,
Thousands of people are walking in a day. Some of them turn themselves over. Some of them are caught. Tens of thousands a week are not. That is what is happening.
it is not that simple. It's not just that people are walking across the border. They want to secure the border. We've been doing that work on our own. The president has done the work to deal with what we're seeing at the border since day one. Because when you look at inflation, when we look at where we are economically, and we are stronger economically than we have been in history. What we saw on January 6th was the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
So think about those top 5 lies coming from this woman, and it's way more than that. But we'll be here all day if I played it. But this woman is a known liar. I mean, a known liar. Sitting through there lying about how sharp Joe Biden was and this and that. And now she wants us to buy her book, and she wants to say she done left the Democrat Party. Not only that, a lot of Democrats done spoke out, especially Stephen A. Smith, because he went off on her. And you know we don't trust Stephen A. Smith for nothing, but he absolutely went off on him. And we're going to go to that clip in just a second. But first, I want y'all to check out Scott Jennings absolutely just going off on Karine Jean-Pierre. Just straight going off on her. Of course, you got these hosts on CNN that be trying to jump in and save Karine Jean-Pierre. Scott Jennings wasn't having it. Check this out.
I have a different view. I'd like to congratulate Democrats for ridding yourselves of this untalented mediocrity. I mean, this is the most self-aggrandizing liar that has ever held this job. The White House press secretary is a sacred position, and she stood up there for years and lied through her teeth to the American people.
My friend,
and
she's not the first.
She is the literal worst White House press secretary in my lifetime. And what she did in the last year and a half of the Biden administration, cheap fakes, the entire cover-up around the president's mental faculties, she was in the center of it.
So you think she's doing this to launder herself?
So congratulations for getting rid of this, but Democrats deserve everything they're getting here for putting her in that job in the first place.
Exactly. So that's what I'm talking about. And another thing that y'all probably didn't know is that when President Trump won, did y'all know Karine Jean-Pierre tried to get a job on The View? She literally tried to get a job on The View. Out of all places that you can try to get a job at, you want to go over there to a View where you got Sonny Holston, Whoopi Goldberg. You want to go over there where them women just talk hateful about Trump 24/7 because they have nothing else to talk about over there. They already in trouble with Disney already telling them to tone down they Trump hate because he don't want to keep getting sued because of their mouth. And not only that, Karine Jean-Pierre tried to run over there and get a job. Ain't that something? Let's check out this clip by Jesse Waters, pretty much exposing what Karine Jean-Pierre tried to do by going to The View.
All Binder's gold digging for book deals, Democrats are rolling their eyes. One Democrat says Binder's book is the most grifty thing I've seen in a long time. And that's saying something in Washington. One former Biden White House official says she was the public face telling us all that this White House was on track and that Biden was amazing. And now she doesn't even want to be a Democrat. Here's what CNN said about DEI Tapper.
What bothers me about this, and I was making some phone calls before this to a number of former Biden administration officials and people in the White House, where they were saying, this is just all an attempt to sell books. And that is what the general consensus is right now in the Democratic Party.
Whoa, wait a second. When Tapper's book came out, CNN was like, this book was brave. But Binder writes a carbon copy, and it's like, uh-oh, money grab. One Democrat insider tells Fox, the job market's really tough right now for Biden world, and I cannot begrudge anyone who needs to make a quick buck. Binder's been trying to get a TV deal, but let's be honest, that was never in the cards. After she left the administration, she tried to get a job co-hosting The View. but The View never called her back.
Ain't that something? Karine Jean-Pierre tried to get a job on The View, and they never called her back, never responded to her. My goodness. It's got to be that crazy. Is it that bad that you got to run to The View, the most hateful group on TV? You got to run over there to them to try to get a job, trying to get you a seat at the table with Whoopi Gold turd? What?
Some people have better luck. Just ask Lloyd Austin. He's making some moves from the Pentagon to K Street. Lloyd's now a lobbyist. Others are getting slapped with subpoenas. Comer's having his own summer soiree, sending letters to top Biden aides who had a heavy hand in the cover-up. The Sly Five just got a formal invite to be deposed. And Joe's doctor, he's not off the hook either. The one who gave him more COVID tests than prostate exams. Wow. O'Connor and Comer, they're checking their calendars right now for a good date. Voters just want respect and the truth. Two things Democrats abandoned because the machine told them to. But instead of earning it back, they're trying to buy it back. They just dropped $20 million on a study about men.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mentioned this before. They dropped $20 million to Democrats to try to see how they can win men over. You gonna pay $20 million? It's all about policies. Look what President Trump did. It's all about your policies. Can your policies help men? Can your policies help women? Can your policies help the American people? Dropping $20 million does nothing. So now y'all, they trying to, just like what he's saying, them trying to buy back men by dropping $20 million instead of coming out with policies. Nobody's going to vote for the Democrat Party. Y'all out here right now sipping margaritas with an illegal alien. Y'all flew all the way to El Salvador to go sip margaritas with an illegal alien who beat his wife numerous of times. We got audio of her calling the police on him. And y'all still was going after President Trump because y'all wanted him back in the United States. Just like y'all wanted all these other illegal aliens back in the United States, trying to tell these judges to force President Trump to turn the plane around and drop these illegal aliens back in the United States. Y'all would never win with y'all policies. So you trying to use money to buy men, that right there is not going to work. It's not going to work.
The project's called Speaking with American Men. Sam.
Boy, I tell you the truth. So this is one of the last clips I want to show y'all right here. This is Stephen A. Smith just absolutely unloading on Karine Jean-Pierre over continuing to cover up Joe Biden's decline even after she left the White House. So let's check out this clip right here by Stephen A. Like I said, he just dropped a bombshell on her. He said exactly what she's trying to do. Now, this is her own side calling her out, and it wasn't just Stephen A. There's a lot of more other people. But this is one of the best clips of Stephen A. going off on her. Check it out.
You were not the White House press secretary when you showed up on ABC's The View a couple of months ago. You were talking major stuff then. You were not the White House press secretary. You were an American citizen who was not working in the White House. What the hell you going to show for then? Bloviating about Joe Biden and how he was alert, and he was spry, and he was a great commander-in-chief, and he was sharp, and all of this stuff. I don't have the clip in front of me because I just saw the story. You're lucky I don't have time to pull it up. But I'm fully aware of the fact that you were not the White House press secretary when you were on The View spewing the same stuff you had spewed when you were the White House press secretary. So all bets are off. You didn't have to do that, but you chose to. Live with your decisions. Live with your decisions. You didn't have to do that, but that's what you chose to do. You chose to go front center and still spew the same party line. So what the book's going to tell us? The book's going to tell us more about the Democrats? Is the book going to be an extension of Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson's book, original?
See, that's what I'm talking about. When you got Stephen A., somebody that's on your side, Karine Jean-Pierre, and he's calling you out, and that's the thing. The American people already know the Democrats lied about Joe Biden. But when you go on The View and you still lying about it after we done found out, here's the thing, like the Republican, we already knew something was wrong with this man. But the Democrats kept cutting off everybody who came on the show. Every time somebody came on CNN saying something wrong with Joe Biden, they'd be like, we got to go. We got to go. You're lying. They kept kicking you off the show and all type of stuff. And you got Karine Jean-Pierre running to The View, still saying the same thing. He was sharp. He was this. These people are just constantly lying. Same thing Kamala Harris did when she was trying to run against President Trump. They'll ask her about Joe Biden. He's sharp. Nothing is wrong with him. If he was so sharp, then why did they kick him out and put you in if he was still sharp? Like, you're lying.
Sin? Yet another Democrat coming out and telling us about stuff that a whole bunch of stuff on the right was telling us, but y'all swore we shouldn't listen to while y'all were engaging in cancel culture, while y'all were engaging in excoriating anybody that called the Democratic Party out for what the hell was going on. That's what we supposed to do now? That's what we supposed to do. We're supposed to listen to you now. Okay. I'll do that. Karine Jean-Pierre, you are more than welcome to come on the Stephen A. Smith Show and explain your book and what it's going to say.
I'd love for that to happen.
But not only why we didn't hear it from you while you were the White House press secretary, which is very understandable, but how come we didn't hear that from you afterwards? Why were we hearing the same stuff after you left the White House that you were saying while you were in the White House?
Well, there you go right there. So I love for to go on the show because we sure gonna cover it. Because see, the thing with Stephen A. Smith, like I said, we don't trust him at all. We know he's a snake, but he will call out his own side like a lot of more other Democrats. They won't do it, but he will do it. But, you know, Stephen A. is the same. He'll call them out and still vote for him. Kind of remind me of Bill Maher. You'll call out your own side, but you'll still vote for their policies. So it just don't make any sense at all. But like I said, there y'all go right there. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think about all of this. And like I said, this woman is a liar. Now you want to come out with a book. Let's just say Kamala Harris would have won when this book ever came out. Nah, you wouldn't have did it. You wouldn't have did it. But like I said, thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comment section that you did make it to the end. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.